Hi everyone, guys. I hope I'm audible and visible again. Can you guys see me? Can you guys hear me? I hope I'm audible and visible again. Let me just check if I am audible and visible so that we can start. Okay, so we will be continuing. Okay, so we will be continuing with the question here. Passage states all of the following about Mercury except. Right? Passage states all of the following about Mercury except. Except is the word we have for this particular paragraph. This was the passage we did regarding Mercury. Mercury can be harmful. Consuming fishes can be harmful sometimes because it has toxic substances like mercury in it. Right. So passage states all of the following about mercury except. Which of the following is not stated in the passage? That is your question. It is particularly dangerous for small children. It is a powerful toxin. It is dangerous for those with a family history of heart disease. Its content is relatively high in some fish, or levels of it have increased recently in most types of fish. Right. So, which of the following options can be the answer? Which of the following should not be the answer about mercury except? Right. It is particularly dangerous for small children. Can we say that consuming fishes, consuming mercury can be dangerous for small children? Yes, because this paragraph we will look at. However, recent studies by a government environmental agency have noted an alarming increase in its toxins present in most fish, especially presence of the metal mercury. Right? Mercury is a powerful toxin that is particularly harmful to the brain development of children and unborn fetuses. So, what do we have here? We're talking about mercury being harmful, not just to the unborn fetuses, but also brain development of children. Now, matlab it is harmful for children, harmful for little kids, right? So, can I eliminate this option? Particularly dangerous for small children? Yes, true. I'm looking for something which is not true. This is not my answer. It's a powerful toxin. Yes, it is a powerful toxin. True. Therefore, not my answer. Dangerous for those with a family history of heart disease? Yes, it is dangerous for those with a family history of heart disease. Content is relatively high in some fish. कुछ fishes में ज़्यादा हो सकता है. Levels of it have increased recently in the past in the most types of fish. So the following is not true. Dangerous for those with a family history of heart disease. Mercury can be harmful for those with a family history of heart disease. Or content is relatively high in some fish. कुछ fishes में mercury content ज़्यादा होता है. True है. आंसर नहीं होगा. Levels of it have increased recently in most types of fish. अक्सर fishes में इसका level बढ़ गया है. Again, right? Alarming increase in the toxins present in most fish. Recent studies. इसका मतलब ये भी ठीक है. This is also true, not the answer. Right? Answer would be it is dangerous for those with a family history of heart disease. It's dangerous for anyone. It's dangerous for basically pregnant women and the children. Answer should be C. This is not true. This is something which is not true. So the answer has to be C Calcutta for this particular question. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay. Next one. In the first paragraph, why does the author state that the doctors often encourage some people to eat fish? The first paragraph, why does the author state that the doctors often encourage some people to eat fish, right? Why does the author encourage some people to eat fish? To illustrate the heart healthy benefits of fish consumption, discourage pregnant mothers from eating fish, to point out the dangers of mercury, to encourage everyone to eat fish, and that is high in omega 3 fatty acids, or to note that absurdity of advice often given by doctors. What is the answer? What is the answer, guys? Have a look at the question. 1 minute and let me know once you're done. We'll discuss the question right here. Alright, let me know once you're done. For the first paragraph, why does the author state that the doctors often encourage some people to eat fish? Right? Why does the author state that the doctors encourage some people to eat fish? Many doctors have noted that many health benefits of eating fish. Many years, doctors have noted health benefits of eating fish. Not only are fish generally low in cholesterol, good source of protein, but they're also high in omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids have shown to improve heart health in a variety of studies. Doctors often encourage people with a family of heart disease to increase their consumption of fish. क्यों encourage करते हैं ताकि वो heart disease की issues को overcome कर सकें. Consumption of fish can help them improve the history of heart disease. Right? So if I look at this question now, what does it say? In the first paragraph, why does the author state that the doctors often encourage some people to eat fish? Why does the author state that the doctors often encourage some people to eat fish? Illustrate the heart healthy benefits of fish eating. Fish consumption के क्या-क्या benefits होते हैं ये दिखाने के लिए. Discourage pregnant mothers from eating fish. To point out the dangers of mercury. To point out dangers of mercury is in the second paragraph. So this cannot be the answer. Discourage pregnant women from eating fish. No again. Illustrate the heart health benefits of eating fish consumption. Yes, we can consider this. Note the absurdity of advice often given by doctors. No. Not saying कि doctors कुछ भी बोल देते हैं कभी भी. Absurd मतलब बकवास. Advice मतलब whatever they're advising. Encourage everyone to eat fish that is high in omega-3 fatty acids. Encourage everyone to eat fish that is high in omega-3 fatty acids. Are they trying to encourage everyone to eat fish that is high in omega-3 fatty acids? Not being specific about eating fish that is high in omega-3 fatty acids, but they're trying to illustrate the heart health benefits of fish consumption. That is the reason they're trying to promote the fact that people should consume fish more often. Okay, let's have a look at another paragraph. Good number of passages to it, good number of paragraphs to it. Please have a look at the passage. Let me know once you're done. We'll discuss it right here. Okay, let me know if you're done reading. And move ahead to the next slide. This one talks about patriotism, what is it, and how is it relatable to a certain scenario, certain you know, type of environment we're referring to here. Let me know if you're done reading. We can move ahead to the next slide, guys. Take the next slide. Here if you could see we're using were with that word patriotism. यहाँ पे was नहीं है, that use किया but फिर भी was नहीं है. Singular नहीं है, we are using it plural because we are referring to something if it were such, right? We're kind of being in a hypothetical situation. Whenever we talk about hypothetical scenario, we always keep it as were, not was. And if you're done reading, we can move ahead to the next slide. Take the next one. Even if you're finding this passage to be tough one, guys, not leave passage in between. Do read it because only the tougher passages would give you something good to learn from. Okay, next one. We have some questions. All right, let's discuss the passage then. Questions post this. Any questions for this? We'll just discuss them. So, what does patriotism talk about here? What is patriotism? Is it love of one's birthplace? the place of childhood's recollections and hopes, dreams and aspirations, right? What is patriotism? Asking you, what is patriotism? Is it love of one's birthplace, place of childhood's recollection and hopes, dreams and aspirations? Is it the place where, in childlike naivety, we would watch the fleeting clouds and wonder why we too could not run so swiftly? Place where we would count the mirrored, uh, glittering stars, terror stricken lest each one and I should be crossing the very depth of our little souls. Is it the place where we would listen to the music of the birds and long to have wings to fly, even as they to distant lands? Or the place where we would sit at the mother's knee, right? So he's talking about patriotism here. Kya? Patriotism matlab your love for your country. We generally say that, right? But what is patriotism? Is it love of one's birthplace? जो अपना birthplace है उसके लिए जो प्यार है, place of childhood's recollections and hopes, बचपन के जो में जो चीज यादें हैं, जो hopes हैं, जो dreams हैं, जो aspirations हैं, उनसे प्यार है, वो चीज है. So the place where childlike naivety, naive means I can be what I want to be. I can be naturally me. So that feeling, you would watch the fleeting clouds, जहाँ से हम clouds को जाते हुए देखते हैं, wonder why we too could not run so swiftly. हम ये सोचते थे कि ये हम इनकी तरह क्यों नहीं भागते. Place where we could count the million glittering stars, जहाँ पे हम रोज रात को बैठ के या लेट के सारे stars को count करते हैं, वो जगह है patriotism. What is patriotism? Terror stricken lest each one eye should be eye, piercing the very depth of little souls. The place where we would listen to the music of the birds and long to have wings to fly. या फिर वो जगह है जहाँ पे बैठ के हम birds को देखते हैं और ये सोचते हैं कि हम उनकी तरह उड़ सके. Just give me a moment, guys. The author is trying to basically count upon what exactly is patriotism. Is it love for one's birthplace? Love for childhood's recollections and hopes and dreams and aspirations? It's a place where in childlike naivety we can have naive. Naive is something which is very, very natural, organic, original, or natural. Okay? We would watch the fleeting clouds and wonder why we too could not run so swiftly, right? We would watch the clouds and we would wonder कि हम इनकी तरह क्यों नहीं भाग पाते. Yes, we would count the million glittering stars, जहाँ पे हम बहुत सारे stars को count करते थे बैठ के. Terror stricken, lest each one and I should be cursing the very depth of our little souls. Is it the place where we would listen to the music of the birds and long to have wings to fly? ये वो जगह है जहाँ पे हम birds को सुनते थे और उनकी तरह पंख लगाने के उड़ने की सोचते थे. Even as they to distant lands, जैसे कि वो distant lands जगह जगह उड़ के चली जाती हैं, हमारे भी पंख होते हैं और हम भी उड़ जाते, ऐसा सोचते थे. और द प्लेस वी वुड सिट एट द मदर्स नी, या फिर वो जगह जहां हम अपनी मम्मा के लैप में सो जाया करते थे या उस पे बैठ के बातें करते थे. Enraptured by wonderful tales of great deeds and conquest. In short, is it the love for the spot, every inch representing dear and precious recollection of a happy, joyous and playful childhood? ये वो है जहां हमने अपना बचपन बिताया है हंसते खेलते हुए. That was patriotism. अगर ये patriotism होता, few American men of today would be called upon to be patriotic. शायद कुछ लोगों को हम अमेरिका में से patriotic बोल सकते, since the place of play has been turned into factory, mill and mine, while deafening sounds of machinery have replaced the music of the birds. शायद वो patriotism कुछ ही लोगों में बचा होगा आज, क्योंकि मैक्सिमम जो patriotism था वो लोगों का किस में बदल चुका है, फैक्ट्रीज में, मिल्स एंड माइंस में. दिस इज ट्रू इवन फॉर इंडिया, राइट? अगर हम बात करें ऐसे पेट्रियोटिज्म की, अगर अगर ये पेट्रियोटिज्म है, few American men of today could be called upon to be patriotic. Since कुछ ही लोगों को हम patriotic बोल सकते हैं क्योंकि the place of play has been turned into factory, mill and mine. जहाँ पे लोग हंसते खेलते थे वो चीज अब फैक्ट्री, मिल और माइन में बदल चुकी है. while deafening sounds of machinery have replaced the music of the birds. okay? जो आवाजें थी जहां से म्यूजिक ऑफ बर्ड्स आया करता था, उनकी चर्पिंग की आवाज आती थी, वहां से उनको डेफनिंग साउंड्स ऑफ मशीनरी की सुनाई देती है. नॉर कैन वी लॉन्गर हियर द टेल्स ऑफ ग्रेट डीड्स और द स्टोरीज आवर मदर्स टेल टुडे आर बट दोज ऑफ सॉरो, टीयर्स एंड ग्रीफ. हम उन चीजों पे ज्यादा विश्वास भी नहीं कर सकते, ना हम उन अच्छी न्यूज को सुनने में या स्टोरीज को सुनने में ज्यादा टाइम लगा सकते हैं, क्योंकि आज की तारीख में जो भी स्टोरीज थी वो सब सॉरो, टीयर्स और ग्रीफ से भरी हुई स्टोरीज हैं. What then is patriotism? फिर patriotism का क्या मतलब है? Patriotism, sir, is the last resort of scoundrels. Scoundrels मतलब he is trying to abuse, right? He's trying to maybe say जो लोग बाहर से आए उनको रेफर करना चाह रहा है. Said Dr. Johnson, Tolstoy, the greatest anti-patriot of our times, defines patriotism as a principle that will justify the training of wholesale murderers. कि wholesale murderers जो थे वो patriotic थे. A trade requires better equipment for the exercise of man killing than the making of such necessities of life as shoes, clothing, and housing. Right? So these people, author from here on, talks about Leo Tolstoy, who does not consider patriotism to be a good word if considered with what is being referred to patriotism in current scenario. आज की तारीख में पेट्रियाटिक मतलब वो इंसान जिसको अपने देश से प्यार है, और जिसको अपने देश से प्यार है अगर वो सोल्जर है, what kind of business is he into? Actually into killing people, killing humans like himself, right? Killing other people like himself. That's what he is now, right? So if that is patriotism for him, then such a patriotism should not exist, right? Talking about such people are wholesale murderers. जब आप एक इंसान बैठ के 50 पाकिस्तानी को उड़ा रहा है एक तरह से, तो वो इंडियन जो है वो एक तरह से मर्डर हुआ उनके लिए. Right? As per Leo Tolstoy, that person is not a soldier. That person is not a soldier of America. That person is like a murderer. A trade that requires better equipment for the exercise of man killing than the making of such necessities of life as shoes, clothing, and housing. Right? So this person, he is not concerned about doing some good business like making shoes or maybe clothing or maybe houses or maybe some kind of trade, but he'd rather in the bad trade of killing people or wholesale murders. A trade that guarantees better returns and greater glory than that of the average working man. Right? It is more like that shows that it's more like a greater thing than average working man. That is what it says. Just give me a moment, guys. In the meantime, tell me what can we expect from this passage. Right? This one here, it talks about Gustav Herf, another great anti-patriot. He's also not into patriotism. Justify calls patriotism a superstition, one far more injurious, brutal, and inhumane than religion. Right? So now he's talking about Gustav Herf, another great anti-patriot. He was also against patriotism. Justify calls patriotism, justly calls, okay, sorry, it's not justified, it's justly calls patriotism a superstition. वो भी क्या बोल रहे हैं? एक अंधविश्वास है. ठीक है, पेट्रियोटिज्म की अगर हम बात करें तो वो भी एक अंधविश्वास है उनके लिए भी. वन फार मोर इंजूरियस, ब्रूटल एंड इनह्यूमेन दैन रिलीजन, जिसको हम रिलीजन से भी ज्यादा इंजूरियस, ब्रूटल और इनह्यूमेन बोल सकते हैं. Superstition of religion originated in man's inability to explain natural phenomena. That is when primitive man heard thunder of saw lightning, right? So that is when primitive मतलब जैसे पहले आदमी जो सोचता था वो क्या देखता था? थंडर और लाइटनिंग की चीजें देखता था. So that is when the primitive man heard thunder or saw the lightning. जैसे कभी भी बिजली कड़कती थी होता था, then he would focus on that. He could not account for either and therefore concluded that back of them must be a force greater than himself. Similarly, he saw supernatural force in the train and in the various other changes in nature. Patriotism, on the other hand, is a superstition artificially created and maintained through a network of lies and falsehood. A superstition that robs man of his self-respect and dignity and increases arrogance and conceit. Right? So patriotism क्या है? Patriotism is not just being, ready for your country, for anything or everyone. We presume it to be. As per Gustav Kohaf too, who was also an anti-patriotic, he says that a primitive man, what you heard and what you saw, like the lightning, he could not account for either and therefore concluded that back of them must be a force greater than himself. उसके पीछे कोई एक force होगी जो बहुत strong होगी, उनसे भी ज़्यादा strong होगी. Similarly, he saw a supernatural force in the rain and the various other changes in nature. Patriotism, on the other hand, is a superstition artificially created and maintained through a network of lies and falsehood. A superstition that robs men of his self-respect and dignity and increases his arrogance and conceit. This is what as it says, as per the two people. Now, passage test which of the following about anti-patriot. Anti-patriots के लिए passage में क्या चीज mentioned है? Can you guys help me out with this? What is being mentioned anti-patriot here? What are we referring to? They believed patriotism was no different from murdering someone. They believed that all patriots were scoundrels. They believed that making a shoe was better than being a patriot. They primarily defined patriotism in the negative sense, or they believed that patriotism was an artificially created superstition. What is the answer? Says which of the following about anti-patriots? Anti-patriots का मतलब गुस्ताव हुआवे एंड लियो टॉल्स्टॉय दोनों के ही व्यूज को कंसिडर करना है. लियो टॉल्स्टॉय कह रहे हैं कि शूज या क्लोथिंग का बिजनेस करना इज बेटर देन बीइंग अ होलसेल मर्डरर. गुस्ताव हुआव क्या कह रहा है कि पेट्रियोटिज्म से अच्छा क्या है कि आप रिलीजन और इस चीज को कंसिडर करो. दिस वन आर्टिफिशियली क्रिएटेड सुपरस्टिशन से अच्छा क्या है कि आप अपनी कंट्री पे फोकस करो. He wants you to focus on something else. So what is the answer here? Just give me a moment, guys. So what should the answer be for this question, guys? Suggest which of the following about anti-patriots can be considered to be they believe that patriotism was no different from murdering someone. They believe that all patriots were scoundrels. They believe that making a shoe was better than being a patriot. Primarily define patriotism in the negative sense. This is something we can consider. बाकी सब क्या है, बाकी सब पॉइंट्स तो ठीक है, बट वो किसी एक के हैं. लाइक दिस इज फॉर दी टॉल्स्टॉय. ओके, दिस इज आल्सो बाय टॉल्स्टॉय. ये भी टॉल्स्टॉय का व्यू है, ये गुआ गुस्तावे का है. So eventually I'm left with one option, that is option number D. Primarily define patriotism in the negative sense. Like they were not very positive. They were not very optimistic about talking about patriotism. This is something we can consider as they primarily define patriotism in a negative sense. So answer has to be option number D for this question. Right? This is how you're supposed to deal with the questions. I hope this was clear to everyone. Let's try one more question quickly. The passage does not mention which of the following about patriotism. पैसेज में क्या चीज मेंशन नहीं है, तो एक्सेप्ट वाला क्वेश्चन बन गया है. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट ट्रू एज पर द पैसेज. दिस फॉर एक्सेप्ट नॉट मेंशन विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग अबाउट द पेट्रियोटिज्म. पेट्रियोटिज्म मे बी द लव फॉर वंस बर्थ प्लेस. पेट्रियोटिज्म मे बी लव फॉर वंस बर्थ प्लेस. Earlier definition of patriotism would not apply to many modern Americans. Leo Tolstoy was the greatest anti-patriot of all times. People have contrasting views on patriotism. Patriotism can in some way be used to justify mass killing of people. Patriotism can be used to justify mass killing of people. That's true. Have constraining views on patriotism. लोगों के अपने अपने अलग अलग views हैं. Leo Tolstoy was the greatest anti-patriot of all times. Greatest anti-patriot, we're not sure. I can keep it. Earlier definition of patriotism could not apply to modern Americans. That's true. True, therefore not the answer. Patriotism may be the love for one's birthplace. This is true, therefore not the answer. This is true, therefore not the answer. This is not true, therefore I'm considering it. People have constraining views. This is true, therefore not the answer. This is true, therefore not the answer. Answer has to be C, Calcutta. Greatest anti-patriot of all times, we're not sure. Answer has to be C, Calcutta. This is how we deal with the questions, guys. I hope this was clear to everyone. Another session on reading comprehension. There's one more session on paragrammars which we'll be having soon, guys. Probably tomorrow, right? I'll be sharing the links with you again. Thank you so very much for joining in. See you tomorrow, almost at the same time. And now at 1:30 we have another session which you can join in for the special class, guys. Also, in case anyone wants to join us for the Unacademy Plus, please do not forget to use the code Shweta18. This is the code you can use and be a part of the Unacademy Plus, guys. Get a discount of 10%. Thank you so very much for joining in, and I would love to see all of you joining us for the Parajumble session.